YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey with Water Realms. Now, quite simply, this is going to be the Esoteric team. Now, trust me, I know I do not have a Cyrus, which is super unlucky. I don't have an RD and I don't have a Ymrit, so let's go ahead and get straight to the substitutions, right? So obviously a Cyrus would be here. The best placement truly is just to have Cyrus facing forward, mainly because it goes ahead and gives you a little bit of a stopgap between the Anora that is in this town and then also the Boreas. Now, one of the most important things is Anora is capable of being hit by Garnet Guards effective immediately whenever spawned out. So typically speaking, I would recommend a Carnelian in this spot just because Carnelian is the best Guild healer right now because she goes ahead and counters the Chaotic Shaman. So obviously you want a Carnelian here, just quite simply. If you don't have a Ymrit, you can go ahead and use an Ardea in this tile. Ardea is the number one slash, well, I would say like 1A, 1B between Ymrit and Ardea, but the whole purpose is you really want a unit that's going to go ahead and give you AoE damage that is going to deal with any units kind of filtering through here. So truth be told, Ardea, Ymrit, 1A, 1B, they both do a fantastic job of taking care of the unit. YouTube, super quick interruption, right? So Small One is currently going ahead and offering some really good rewards if you are choosing to go ahead and get some W Gold through their website. So this is going from June 26th, which is right around now, to July 7th. So we have some time. You will go ahead and get some rare summoning crystals, some auto battle stamina. You're even getting diamonds, and at the very higher end of the rewards, you're getting some divine summoning crystals and ancient summoning crystals. So if you're thinking about going ahead and stocking up for the anniversary, go ahead and use the link in the description below. Thank you. That are starting to stack up here, but you really want your Anora to survive. So I would strongly recommend, obviously you're going to go ahead and do Infernal Roar, attack main stats and everything, but you really want to push as many HP subs as you possibly can, because an Anora that is able to survive the initial Garnet Guards is going to be really devastating against your opponent in the case that they go ahead and just try to double Garnet Guard, sniper out, and then even possibly going ahead and doing a bombing run. That's another possible strategy that they would possibly do against the Anora in this position. Just do what you can to go ahead and give some survivability, and then you should be okay. The main thing is survive the Garnet Guards, worry about the bombs later. Honestly, that's your best bet. Now, the second thing is we do have a Boreas in this tile. Now, the reason why we have Boreas is because Boreas goes ahead and gives anti-heal. He gives you some freezes. He also does a significant amount of damage. And honestly speaking, whenever Boreas is in the top tile here, you get a lot more additional utility out of him, because when he goes ahead and does his like AoE hit from his ultimate, or just in general, right? He is hitting behind him. So you have a really good chance of going ahead and hitting dogs that might be already passed through and just one-shotting them. Any flyers that are kind of starting to pass through here. You really want to just do what you can with the Boreas to just deal with any units that are already past you. And that's why he's in this tile. Anora's here because her entire job is just to basically hopefully one-shot any unit that kind of gets into this little corridor here, alongside what should be, obviously, once again, right, Ardea or Ymrit. Her job is basically just to go ahead and just solo everything that's over here. If you are able to go ahead and build enough damage, enough tankiness on these units, you should go ahead and basically force your enemy into a really precarious situation where they're having to deal with AoE from everywhere, a little bit of anti-sustain because of Boreas, and then also they're just kind of getting chunked out. So it will deal with the swarms that you'll see. Now, once again, I have mentioned there are some counters to this. Garnet Guards immediately, bombing strategies, Shadow Keepers. There are some counters to this, unfortunately, as it stands, but the best bet against it truly is make sure your Anora survives, and then you can worry about everything else after that. I have seen some cases where there is no Anora, no Ardea, no Ymrit, and there is a Thalon in this tile, right? Now, Thalon will go ahead and ult, however, he's not the best for it. He's kind of a little bit tricky situation because you're not going to go ahead and hit this tile here, especially if Cyrus is facing forward. So that's the kind of bad thing about it, but he will go ahead and inflict the stuns once he pulls the spear back. But it doesn't really help that much, right? You need something that's going to go ahead and give you some really good anti-air, or at least some very significant damage in these two tiles here. So I don't necessarily recommend Tholin. However, if you don't have Alubu, you don't have Ardea, you don't have Ymrit, it's passable, right? And that is going to be the tower specifically. Now, if we were talking about the keeps have a little bit of a different placement, truth be told. So let's go ahead and open it up, because we do have some flexibility when it comes to the keeps. Now, one of the things that you will see is you will see a team looking somewhat like this, right? You will go ahead and have your Cyrus. Usually the Cyrus is facing forward. You can have a Boreas here, and you have a Nora here. Now, the whole purpose is Nora is going to install here. Boreas is going to go ahead and ult basically whenever the units get here, and give you some really good clearance on just one-shotting everything that's on this side of the map. You have Captain Reeve here now. Reeve is going to go ahead and basically give you some sustain against those really annoying swarming attempts, and you should be fine. Now, we have a Eunomia here. Obviously, I strongly recommend, it's not supposed to be a Eunomia. You want a Carnelian here. Carnelian is going to be the #1 pound for pound best healer for this team, because you really just need to save yourself against those really annoying chaotic shaman. Now, you can see mages hit some of these tiles over here, so you really just want your units in this vicinity to be a little bit tanky so they don't just get one shot. But from there on out, you should be pretty okay to survive anything else. Now, one of the other teams that we have seen in general, and that you can see, is something a little bit more akin to this, right? So the Cyrus is facing like this way. You have a Reeve that's like right here, healer, Anora, and then I know I'm putting like a tank right here, or not tank, Boreas right here, but you can see like a Tholin in this tile. You can see a Ymrit in this tile. Just any long range unit that can hit in this general area is more than okay. Now, once again, right, you have to be a little bit careful, because you have the ability. Wait, why am I putting her here? It's like this. Yeah, there we go. You have the ability to go ahead and get hit. But as long as your units survive long enough to really deal with any dramatic threats, you should be okay. Now, once again, right, a little bit tricky with these placements. You really need some tankiness, but you also need to push as much damage as you can. And those are probably going to be the best esoteric teams that you can realistically build. It is unit dependent. Obviously, you need a Cyrus, you need a Bonded Anora. Bonded Anora is absolutely essential because you get so many important boosts from having Ymrit on your account. It really just changes the trajectory as to how Anora functions. But that's pretty much it. See ya.